Today we're going to be looking at graphing linear equations by hand. So we have a couple different examples here so that you can see how different slopes and different y-intercepts will affect how the graph looks on that coordinate plane. So if we take a look at y equals 3x minus 4, the first thing you always want to think about is what is my slope and what is my y-intercept. So we know that the slope is always going to be the coefficient of that x term. It's the number that is that's touching that x term. So I know that my slope for this one is 3. And I know my y-intercept is going to be that constant term, which means the number that is just sitting by itself. We always want to make sure that we're keeping the sign that's in front of that number. So my y-intercept is going to be -4. All right. So when we go to our graph, we always start at the origin, which is where those two lines cross. It's where y and x are both going to equal 0. And the first point we're going to plot is the y-intercept. So we said it's -4, but what we really mean is it's a coordinate point with an x value of 0 and a y value of -4. So we'll start at the origin and we'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4 spots and we'll put a dot. All right. From that dot, you have to stay on that dot. You're going to move up and to the right or down and to the right the amount that the slope is. So, for example, we have a slope of 3. Now, that's a whole number, so we don't have a fraction to tell us what to move up or down, and then the bottom is going to be the left or right. So, if you have a whole number, we can always put that over 1. So, we'll go back to our dot, and from here, we're going to go up 3 right from that y-axis, and then to the right 1 and put a dot there. At this point, we have 2 points, and that's going to make a line. So, we can connect and then make a line between those 2 points. And we'll put arrows on either end. So the next equation looks a little bit different because the terms are kind of flip-flopped, but we treat it the exact same way. So we're going to look first and say, well, what's our slope? So in this case, our slope is going to be still with the x term, and it's going to be a -2. And we know that we need a denominator here, so we're going to put that over 1. Whole numbers always go over 1. And then we're going to look and say, okay, well, what's my y-intercept? And again, that's my constant term right here, the number that's by itself, and that's going to be +5. So we'll jump back to our graph here, and we'll put our dots where they belong. So the first thing we're going to plot is this y-intercept, and that's going to be at a +5. So we'll start again at that origin and move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, the slope tells me that I need to move down 2. Because the top value here is a negative, that is going to tell me to move down. Okay, we're always either going to move up or down, and then on the bottom, you could move left or right, but I find that to be kind of confusing sometimes, so I always either move up or down according to what that top value is, and then always to the right on that bottom value. So we'll go down 2 and to the right 1, put our dot, and then we will connect our points with a line. Not too bad, so let's move on, and we're going to deal with this problem here. So this has a couple things going on, and the first thing is, all right, well, let's try to figure out our slope, and in this case, our slope is a fraction. It's 3/4, so I don't need to put it over 1 because it's already in fraction form. But I'm looking, and I don't see a y-intercept. I don't see a constant term here, something that's plus a number or minus a number in my linear function. So if you don't see a y-intercept, it's going to be 0. So from that point, we'll just do what we've been doing. Put a dot at my y-intercept, which is 0. From that point now, we're going to use our slope to get to our next point. We're going to go up 3 because our numerator is 3 and it's a positive, so we go up 3 and then to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We put our dot, we connect our 2 points, and our line is done. All right, last but not least, we have this situation here where, oh goodness, I don't even see an x at all. So if we don't see an x term and you just have y equals some number, your slope is going to be 0, which means we're not going to move up and we're not going to move down at all. All right, my y-intercept is that constant term, and in this case it's going to be -2. So this one's a little bit weird. I can still plot my y-intercept at -2, but now what? If my slope is 0, I could really write that as 0/1 if I wanted to. So I'm not going to go up and I'm not going to go down, but I am going to go to the right 1 unit. Anytime you see a y equals equation that doesn't have a slope, all that really means is that it's going to be a horizontal line at that y-intercept.